Hello guys, welcome back. So from this lecture onwards, we're going to focus on CSS completely. Okay, so there are quite different ways, you know, to write the CSS code. Okay, CSS in sense, it's a style. Okay, cascading style sheet CSS. So it's totally for styling purpose. Styling in sense, it's color, background color, um, you say pixels, the font style, okay, the border color, everything gets, we'll define everything in style sheets. Okay, so styling a HTML page is quite important because it's alonely doesn't make, um, you know it alonely doesn't make any sense. Okay, because if you open Apple website by clicking here, you can see there will be a different colors. You can see different fonts. Here the iPhone 13 Pro is in black color, 13 is in white color. You know, here you can see new in red. This is somewhat pinkish shade, isn't it? So we have many stylings. So without styling, it's not a good way to represent a HTML page because it's not so attractive. Using HTML alone, we cannot use the web page more attractively. We cannot create it more attractively. Okay, so CSS is very important in terms of web pages. Okay, so there are different ways to there are different ways to um, we say styling. Okay, styling a single web page. There are quite a so there are three types of CSS styling. Okay, so first thing is inline CSS and internal CSS. The next thing would be external CSS. So first let us discuss about inline CSS. Okay, so the inline CSS, what it will do, basically I'll explain it with an example. Here is the Apple page, right? The name Apple page. So what I'll do, I'll change this color from black to blue. Okay, Apple page will come into blue color now. Okay, so how to do that? So we can do that by here is the Apple page h2 tag, right? So give space after h2 tag and give style is equals color blue. Okay, fine. So style equals color blue. So styling, this style keyword is very important now because we are saying to the HTML page that we are styling. Okay, so save this and just reload the page, and you can see the Apple page is getting turned into blue. Okay, this Apple page now became blue color. The heading became blue color. Okay, and you can also give so many things now. You can align like text align center. Okay, so you can do quite different things, but basically will not practice inline CSS. Inline CSS is not so effective. Okay, so let me delete this. So I just explained you to know how to use this type. Okay, inline CSS, but don't use inline CSS in real life. Okay, so never ever use inline CSS. Just know this inline CSS. Okay, for your knowledge. So delete this inline CSS now. So we have internal CSS and external CSS now. Fine. So let me save this. Now let me reload this page. You can see it again turned into its default color black. So now internal CSS and external CSS. Okay, so external CSS is most widely used, and internal CSS is also used, but according to the situation. Okay, if you have less code in CSS, so then you can use the internal CSS. If you have large codes in external CSS, like 100 to 150 lines in external CSS, like in CSS, then we'll use external CSS. I'll explain you why we'll use those types of styling. So first let us start with internal CSS. So how to use internal CSS? So go to the head tag. Okay, so below style, open a tag and type style. Okay, this is just style tag, and below the style we can mention our styling now. Okay, so basically for internal CSS and external CSS there is some syntax. Okay, so we'll first define the tag, to which tag we are now writing our CSS code. For suppose we want to write this CSS code for h2 tag, then we will write h2 here. Okay, so h2, so this is basically the syntax, h2 to h2, and then we'll open and close the parenthesis. Okay, parenthesis in sense this thing. Okay, flower brackets. So here inside this we can define anything, like if you want to change the color to blue, color is blue. And if you want to declare something else, like a text align in sense alignment of text into center, t er. Okay, not re, it's er, and so on. You can define number of things for that tag. Okay, so these tags are like, this internal tag or external tag should be used by the syntax. So now, so you now came to know how to use the syntax. What is the syntax? So inside style, I want to style the things for h2 tag. So h2, open and close the parenthesis, and I want to give the color as blue. Okay, fine. So save this, reload this page. You can see it again turned into blue. If I want to align this text to the center of the page, so text align is center, center er. Okay, save this. You can see now the apple pay is getting into the center. Okay, so again, um remember that color is something, you know it's not color, it's color. Okay, so it's okay for now. It's just three hardly 3 to 4 lines of code, so that it's very easy to keep it in the same HTML page. Like, so this is basically internal CSS. But suppose you have n number of stylings. Okay, for suppose for a single HTML page, let it be 100 to 200 lines of CSS code. So then it becomes very difficult for us to differentiate between the HTML code and CSS code. So if you want to go to HTML page, you have to go through all the CSS first, scroll down, and then you can find the HTML code. So it becomes a quite a difficult, and the first impression will also not be good. So if you have a large number of CSS code, don't ever use internal CSS. So my suggestion is, even if you have small code or large code, never use internal CSS. If you want to use the CSS code, always use external CSS. So now, how to use the external CSS? Okay, first let me delete this styling. Okay, so now I have deleted, I have saved this, and I'll reload this, and it came as it is now. Fine. So now how to use external CSS? External CSS in sense, all the CSS code will be written in another document. Okay, so we have apple html, html page.html, index.html. Likewise, we'll create a new file and let me name it as style.css and just save that. We have a new file now, style.css. So we have the naming convention. If you remember, for the first HTML page, I told you to always give index.html. But for CSS, we do not have any such rules. Okay, basically you can give any name according to your wish. So for me, I just given style.css. Okay, so in this, I'll write the style inside style.css. I'll write this h2. Okay, the code for h2 in the same way as it is like this. Okay, the syntax remains same for both internal and external css. So I'll write h2. Okay, color would be blue, and okay, fine, and text align to center. Okay, first thing, text align center. Fine, let me save this and let me reload this. If you observe, after I reload, nothing will change in this page. Do you know what's the reason? We have specified this h1, I'm sorry, h2 inside here, and we have given color text align, so it's perfect now. But nothing has changed here because the VS Code do not know to which page we have styled, so we have to mention. So we have to link between apple.html and style.css. Okay, so linking is also quite very easy. Okay, go to apple.html and at the top of head here before title, just give a tag called link. Remember this tag link. Okay, so for this link we have to give href. Okay, href equals, so we are referring the link such as style.css. Okay, here, so we have linked the apple page and style.css. Okay, so here you can see for the anchor tag also we have used href. So if you are using href and anchor tag, it is the linking between two HTML pages. Okay, so, but if you used the keyword link, it's the linking between a HTML page and CSS page. Always remember that. Don't get confused in between both of this. Okay, link and anchor tag. Okay, for both link and anchor tag we are using href. But the thing is, anchor tag is used for linking between two HTML pages, while link tag is used to link an HTML page and CSS page. So now just save this and reload this, and it's not working still. So how to work? So you have to specify the relation. So the keyword is rel. Relation equals, what's that? Style sheet. Okay, style sheet. Fine, let me save this. You can see now apple page, we the apple page getting blue and the text aligned to center. So you have to specify the relation and you have to href. Okay, reference, and the keyword is link. So this is how you will link between an HTML page and CSS page. Okay, so this is basically the external CSS. So what I suggest you guys, don't ever use inline or internal CSS. Always use external CSS. It's a good practice. Okay, so make note of all the syntaxes and all the types of CSS. Okay, so it's quite a simple thing to get. Okay, it's quite a simple thing. The thing is, instead of using internal or inline CSS, use always external CSS. Inside, in to link between HTML and CSS, we have used the link, href, and relations. And in styling, we have used since we want this h2 tag to be blue and aligned to center, we have taken h2 and we have, you know, given the parenthesis and we have given the our coding. In the same way, we have used here p paragraph. Okay, so this is what the paragraph is. So if I want the whole of this paragraph to turn into red color, what I'll do, whatever I done for h2, I'll do the same for p. So use a p and open and close the parenthesis, change the color to red for some time. Okay, just save this. You know, the whole thing went to red. Okay, turned into red. So this is how we'll use our HTML and CSS code. We'll link and we'll use. For suppose I have this footer inside B. Okay, so I'll just uh, keep the footer inside paragraph P. Okay, fine. So I'll just save this. I'll reload this and you can see all the P, not only the thing here, since the footer is also in P, it is also getting into red color. Okay, so all the paragraphs are getting turned into a red color. So if I want only this paragraph to be red, okay, instead of the footer, I want only this paragraph to be red. So how to do that? And I want both of these to be in P. Okay, so is there a way to do that? Yes, there is a way to do that. So I'll tell you in the next lecture. So how to turn only one paragraph into red and let other paragraph be in its original shape and size. Okay. So we can also change the font sizes for this. Okay. Let me change this font size. Okay. You have font size. Okay. Font size would be, so we'll define the font size in pixels. Okay, suppose you want 20 pixels, you can write 20 pixels, save this and you can see here it's getting changed to 20 pixels. If you want to change it for 80 pixels, okay, so it would be big in size, see, 80 pixels. So if you want to make it 50 pixels, so it's basically font size is getting defined as 50 pixels. And another thing is that we'll not basically use color like this. Okay, so we'll define the color basically in some numbers. Okay, so we'll discuss how to define how those numbers are defined and everything. Okay, so for only the color itself we will be having a single lecture. Okay, don't worry about the color thing. Okay, we'll, you know, there are many colors which are not known to us. Okay, we'll see those things. So yeah, that's it. So in this lecture you have learned all the three: inline, internal and external css. So for external css you just came to know how to link between the html page and css page and what's the syntax that is used in internal and external css. Okay, so I hope you have learned something new in this lecture. So let's meet up in the next lecture.